Okay, so today we're going to talk about the Elementalist in Dragon Age Inquisition, which is probably the top class I would recommend trying before they nerf the hell out of it. It's really good on offense and has a solid defense and is pretty much, I think, the best character in multiplayer, period. So I'm going to show you how I spec'd out my Elementalist, and you can follow along and do it yourself as well. So Elementalist starts with two powers, Immolate, which is a fire power, and then also Winter's Grasp, which is ice. I personally prefer Winter's Grasp because it freezes people, including some of the bigger bosses like the Venatori Commander and also the Arcane Horror, so it makes it really useful even without buffing it at all. So anyways, if you play one routine round, you should reach level 4 or 5. So you're going to want to begin speccing out your fire tree with Conductive Current, and then Flashpoint, and then Clean Burn, and then if you make it to level 5, Pyromancer. This is so that in your second game, you build up enough points to get Firestorm, which is easily one of the best powers in all of multiplayer. It's really useful. It's got a wide radius. It basically does a lot of damage and knocks down all the little mooks within the circle, and it's great for crowd control. And the next power you're going to want to get at level 7 is Death Siphon. This is hugely critical to your character because it means you'll heal every time you kill an enemy, which is really, really useful. And then after level 7, I like to start speccing out the lightning tree and basically getting myself to barrier as soon as I can. So going down the center row with Peaceful Aura and Winter Stillness. And Winter Stillness is super useful because you can just stand in one place and your mana will regenerate twice as quickly, and this is really useful for round 5 every time you play when all the bosses come and you're inside that little room just camping. And then Guardian Spirit is pretty useful as well, and then you want to spec out Barrier, and usually I just spec out Barrier once, and then the next thing I spec out is back in the Destruction Tree. And I personally like Wall of Fire, although some people spec out Fire Mine. The difference is Wall of Fire is really good at crowd control. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but it lasts a pretty long time, and it makes your enemies panic and run away from you. So it really takes, the heat off you, no pun intended. While Fire Mine, it does a lot of damage. It doesn't really do anything for crowd control, and on the higher levels you're definitely going to want crowd control. And also I find that the enemies that you want to step on Fire Mine typically don't step on Fire Mine, so I would just pass this up and go for Wall of Fire. And then after you're done speccing out Wall of Fire, the next thing you want to do is to go back to your control tree and then spec out the rest of the barrier things down here, so all 4 of these circles. That'll give you a pretty decent defense, and it'll also give you a little bit of offense for when enemies hit your barrier. They will also get hurt. And now, right now, you have Firestorm, Wall of Fire, and Barrier set up on your little controls, and you have one more option. And typically, people go for Immolate, or they go for Winter's Grasp, or they go for Stone Fist. I personally like Stone Fist fully specced out because it's basically, it knocks people down and it does a lot of damage, and it basically stops them for as long as, say, Winter's Grasp would freeze them. It's pretty useful. And then for my last point, I like to do Defiant. It's a nice passive power to have, and you can't have any more active powers because all your slots are taken up. So that's how I spec out my Elementalist. And if you want to keep watching, you can watch a recorded part of my team of 3 Elementalists and a Keeper doing Perilous mode. Thanks for watching.